Welcome to today's experience training. Today we're going to talk about invest. And the name of today's training is Don't Buy a Tractor Without a Field. Okay, yes, I am from Alabama. If you haven't picked up on this illustrious accent, go with me on it. I get agriculture and football. In this training, we're going to talk about associating a return with each phase of investment. And we're going to consider it in two ways. Number one, we're going to think about what you buy, what you invest in. And number two, I want to talk a little bit about what you inherit. Let's talk about the nature of investment. Why do we invest? The simple answer is we invest for a return. That's the difference between expenses and investments, right? The question then becomes, how do you invest wisely? And that's where the agricultural analogy is going to come in. If you wanted to become a farmer, what decision would you make first? The answer is, what do I want to grow? Right? And once you've established what you want to grow, you then can start to consider the conditions that have to be present in order for you to be able to get that crop. You then can consider the conditions that have to be present in order for you to be able to grow that particular crop. On and on, these decisions are made, decisions which carry with them associated costs. You got to buy the right field. You've got to prepare the field. You got to buy the right seed. And here's the thing. Tractors and fields go together. The combination totally makes sense, but there's an order to it. The desired harvest and the nature of the field determines the type of tractor you'll need. Having a tractor doesn't mean you have the right tools. You see, what I consider this is first things first investing. Cool thing about first things first investing is it minimizes expenses. It's wisdom to invest in the tools and the resources you require at each stage of the journey. These are the things which complement and enhance your daily methods of operation for that season versus looking at something and saying, I think we'll need this down the road somewhere. And that sounds basic, but how many times do you see people and companies rush into expansion? They start the next big thing before they finish the last big thing. You see, rushing major expenses when smaller investments would have increased their earnings is expensive. One other consideration. I said I wanted to talk a little bit about the idea of inheritance, right? So what if you inherited a tractor? Something we have to know, seasons change, goals change. If old methodologies don't match up with your current goals, keeping them around because they're quote unquote paid for, that can be expensive. In the tractor analogy, they still require maintenance, right? If you kept in the tractor analogy, they still require maintenance. They require insurance, they require fuel. They aren't the best tools for the job, but you're still pouring money into them. Every dime you spend is either an investment or an expense. So keep first things first. What will allow you to get one step closer to your goals? What investments are right for right now? If you inherit something that doesn't match who you are today, find value in the ability to give it to someone, to sow it to someone, to sell it to someone for whom that season is right, and then invest in who you are today and who you desire to become tomorrow. It's wisdom to invest in first things first. It's wisdom to buy a field so that you can buy the right tractor. That's what I learned in Alabama.